Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back. Today I thought it would be fun to do a tag video. I had so much fun doing the eyeshadow palette one a couple weeks ago from Samantha March and Allie Glines, and I thought, it would be fun since it's drugstore month here on my channel to do a drugstore tag. And I was searching all over YouTube and had a hard time finding one until I found this one from like 7 years ago. I think that was the last time anybody did a drugstore themed makeup tag. And so many people had done that one. Emily Noel, Jessica Braun, Casey Holmes, Tati. So I thought it would be fun to do an updated version of that one. I did use a couple of the same questions and then I added a whole bunch of my own. So if there's any other people on YouTube that you'd love to see do this video, definitely let them know, tag them on social, and then I think it would be so fun to hear everybody else's answers. So why don't we go ahead and jump into the first question, and I don't even know why I made this one so hard. What was I thinking? If you could only use one drugstore or affordable brand for the rest of your life, what would it be? So immediately my mind went to ColourPop with this one because I love their eyeshadow palettes so much. I think they're like the best at the drugstore. But then I thought about it a little more and I really don't care for some of their face products. Like I'm not a fan of the concealer, the mascara is just like, okay, it's not my favorite. They don't have a huge line yet. They don't have like every product I could ever want to use. So even though I love their palettes and blushes, I would say probably not ColourPop. So I think what I would choose would be Makeup Revolution, because Makeup Revolution has such a wide, extensive line and just about anything I could ever want. Like their eyeshadow palettes, there's so many different ones out there, and they have like every type of complexion product, brow products, they have bronzers that are beautiful, blushes, just everything. Foundations. I love their concealer. Their concealer is amazing. I love their Mascara Revolution mascara, which I feel like, is kind of hit or miss for a lot of people, but I happen to love it. So I think just because they have such a wide range and they also have like all the different sub brands like I Heart Revolution, they have the Revolution Pro, they have the new XX line, which looks fantastic and absolutely amazing. So they're just always coming out with so many new things, and I feel like I would never get bored if I had to use just Makeup Revolution for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna go with that one. All right, so then question number 2 is, what's the most underrated drugstore brand? So this one, I would have to go with Kokie Cosmetics because they have so many fantastic products, and I feel like they got a lot of hype when they first launched at Walmart, and now you can't really find them in Walmart anymore. They're only at Rite Aid, and a lot of people don't have Rite Aid stores near them, so they're a little trickier to find. You can always go online to find their products, but I just think that they have so many wonderful things in their collection. Their contour palette is one of the best ones I've ever tried, both drugstore and high-end. It's absolutely amazing. Their little blush trios are so fun. They kind of remind me a little bit of the Anastasia ones. They come in so many different shades and the formula is great. I love their volume and length mascara. It's one of my favorite drugstore formulas. They have liquid eyeshadows, which are kind of like the Stila ones, which are amazing as well. The lip veneer cream lip gloss, they're like a really pigmented, beautiful formula lip gloss. They have the lip powder if you like more matte formulas and it's not too drying. Even their nail polishes are fantastic. I know they're not really known for those, even though I think that was like the first product they came out with, or at least what they started with, and they're super long lasting. They come in like so many different shades, like I want to say over 100 on their website, and they're also really opaque, like 2 coats and you're good. And even their eyeshadow palettes, which didn't start off that great, they've reformulated a bunch of them. They've come out with new ones that are really fantastic. So all around, I just think they're a great drugstore brand that definitely gets overlooked. All right, so then question number 3 is the most overrated drugstore or affordable brand, and I'm gonna go with Morphe on this one. I just don't get the hype of Morphe. I do like some of their brushes, but as far as their eyeshadows, I just feel like they're okay. The line in general just really hasn't impressed me all that much. So yeah, for me, I just don't really get the hype when it comes to Morphe. And then question number 4 is my favorite drugstore product under $5. So there's so many great ones out there. I actually just did a video on this a couple weeks back. In case you missed that one, I'll just link it up above. But I would say my favorite, because it impressed me so much, is the Believe Beauty foundation. So Believe Beauty is only found at Dollar General stores in the United States, but I mean, it's just an amazing foundation. It looks so skin-like, it covers really nicely, it wears nicely throughout the day, and it just impressed me because normally drugstore foundations can be very hit or miss, and that one was so good and so super affordable. all. I was just really wowed by that one. And then question number 5 is, what is a hidden gem at the drugstore that nobody ever talks about? Well, I know for a fact that I always talk about it, and that is the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base Primer. This is such an old product. It's like, I think it came out 10 years ago, but I've gone through so many jars of this and nobody ever mentions it anywhere on YouTube. And it's like such a fantastic primer. It's the best pore filler I have ever tried. It makes my skin look so smooth, and every time I wear it, people are like, your skin looks fantastic. People I know, they're like, what kind of skincare do you use? Because it just makes everything look so smooth, and my foundation just looks amazing on top of it. So I absolutely love this. I hope they never stop making it. And then speaking of foundation, question number 6 is, what is the best drugstore foundation? So I know I already mentioned the Believe Beauty one. I love that one to death. I think it's amazing. But I think the one that has just a slight edge over it for me is the Kick A. I'm not going to say it in case you guys have kids listening in, but All Day Wear foundation from Soap and Glory. So this one is actually an exact dupe for the CYO Life Proof foundation, which was my previous favorite. They're part of the same umbrella company, and it looks like because CYO was discontinued, this kind of is replacing that in the line. And they have the exact same ingredient list. It feels and acts exactly the same on the skin. And for reference, in case you're new to my channel, I have dry skin. I'm 42, so I have some fine lines and stuff going on. And this just looks so beautiful on my skin. It has a really like silky texture that kind of sits on top of everything. It doesn't sink into the fine lines, doesn't sink into the pores. It just kind of smooths everything out and makes it look amazing. It has medium coverage. It has a satin finish, so it's not too glowy. It's not too matte. It's really just my perfect foundation, and I think it's absolutely amazing. All right, so then question number 7 is, what products do you tend to buy more of at the drugstore versus high-end? So for me, that would be blush, because I think there's so many great blushes at the drugstore, like the Flower Beauty Flower Pots. Those are like my all-time favorite blush. They're fantastic. The ColourPop pressed powder blushes and Super Shock blushes are amazing as well. Milani's baked blushes and also their cream blushes are so fantastic. I mean, there's just so many great ones at the drugstore. I feel like, what's the point in buying high-end? Another category would be mascara. There's fantastic drugstore mascaras out there, like Lash Princess from Essence, the CoverGirl Supersizer, Maybelline makes some amazing mascaras. The one from Makeup Revolution I mentioned earlier in the video. So mascara is another one that I feel like if I could never buy high-end again, I really wouldn't have to. Also, I would say bronzers. My favorite bronzers that I use all the time, like the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula and the Milani Silky Matte. They're affordable drugstore options, so I almost feel like I don't have to buy high-end ones. And then the last category would have to be lipsticks and lip glosses, because there's just so many good ones at the drugstore again. Like the Flower Beauty Petal Pelt lipsticks are like my favorite lipstick formula of all time, and those are really affordable. One of you guys had recently told me about the Revlon Super Lustrous lipsticks, which I haven't tried in ages and ages, but I actually just got this one today. This is the one I'm wearing on my lips. It's Rose Velvet. Thank you so much to whoever recommended this to me. I tried to look back and find your name, and I don't know what video that was on, but it is like such a creamy, beautiful formula. I love this color, by the way, too. So thank you so much for the recommendation. But again, it's like just as good as any high-end lipstick I've ever tried. And then like lip glosses, the Milani Ludicrous ones and their lip plumping glosses are so good. The Neutrogena Hydro Boost lip gloss is fantastic. The new Maybelline Lip Lifter ones are amazing. I mean, there's just so many great lip products at the drugstore. So those are my categories: lip products, bronzers, blushes, and mascaras. Drugstore is where it's at with those. All right, so then question number 8 is, what is a drugstore brand that you think is overpriced? I would have to go with NYX on that one. NYX used to be one of my favorite drugstore brands before all of these other amazing ones started to come out. And I thought that they were, you know, pretty reasonably priced back then, but then everything just started to climb and climb, and pretty soon they were charging $20, $25 for their eyeshadow palettes, and suddenly they weren't really drugstore anymore. They were kind of creeping into like a mid-range. So definitely NYX for me. I feel like their prices have just gotten way out of control. And then question number 9 is, what's my favorite drugstore dupe? So this was really hard. I have a couple of videos on drugstore dupes. I think there's so many great ones out there. But my favorite would probably be the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer versus the Marc Jacobs Tantastic, because that Marc Jacobs bronzer is such a beautiful color. It's $50, and it was really hard to spend that amount of of money on a bronzer, but now I feel like I never have to again because the Milani Silky Matte is just as beautiful of a formula and it's pretty much the exact same color. And then question 10 is, what is the best drugstore eyeshadow formula? So with this one, definitely gonna go with ColourPop. I love ColourPop's formula so much. I think their shadows are amazing. They're high-end quality at really affordable prices, and they just have such a great like variety of different ones out there. So I love ColourPop. And then a very close second would be BH Cosmetics. I really love their formula as well. I think they're both really good. And then number 11 is, what is the worst drugstore eyeshadow formula? For that one, I would definitely say L'Oreal. They haven't, first of all, come out with any eyeshadow palettes in such a long time. I was thinking about them the other day, like, what the heck is going on? They still have those La Palette Nude or whatever, like 1 and 2 that they came out with like how many years ago? And then I think they had launched that Paradise one not too long ago, but they just are so lackluster to me. Even Maybelline has improved their eyeshadow formula. So I just don't know what's going on with L'Oreal, but their palettes are just not my favorite. All right, and then question number 12 is a drugstore brand you used to love but aren't crazy about anymore. So I actually have 2 of them, NYX being one of them, but I already kind of mentioned that one. The other one I would say is Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild, they used to be able to like do no wrong when it came to me. I loved almost everything they came out with. I got so excited about their collections, but these days I don't know, I'm totally uninspired by everything they come out with. Like thinking back, they had that Pump collection, I think it was called. It was like the workout inspired stuff, and I didn't like almost all of it. I thought it was pretty bad. That Crystal Cavern collection was really like not great. The Pac-Man thing, I mean, there's just, I don't know, I'm just not really into everything that they come out with these days. Question number 13 is drugstore product you didn't expect to like but totally wowed you. No question, that would be the Maybelline Nudes of New York palette. This palette is so good. I'm actually wearing it today. I took it out for the first time in, I don't know, a couple months now, and I was reminded again of how awesome this palette is. And Maybelline used to have like one of the worst formulas at the drugstore, I would say. They were right up there with L'Oreal. They were just so dusty and powdery and nothing ever looked good. And this palette came out. I was not expecting it to be anything great, and it's really, really good. So yeah, this palette absolutely wowed me 100%. And then the last question, question number 14, is my favorite affordable or drugstore eyeshadow palette. And this was another tough one because there's so many good ones out there. Again, I love so many from ColourPop. I love my Milani Soft and Sultry palette. And honestly, when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, my favorites kind of change out pretty frequently. But of the moment right now, I would say my favorite is the BH Cosmetics Love in London palette. I took that one out again recently to try it out and was just blown away all over again by the formula. It is so, so good, and the colors in that one are just so beautiful. I feel like no matter what I'm wearing or what type of look I want, I can create a warm tone look with it. I can create a cool tone look with it. It's so gorgeous. So for me, that one right now is at the very top, but like I said, ColourPop, even this Maybelline one, I mean, it's up there. Soft and Sultry. There's so many good ones. All right, guys, so that's everything. I hope you had as fun watching this as I did making it. I love talking about drugstore makeup, and it was so much fun just kind of going through all my favorites and least favorites. So again, if there's anybody that you would love to see do this video, definitely let them know. I would love to see some of my favorite people here on YouTube do this video as well. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.